Here we go!
No matter what happens, I will try to save you!
The exchange with Levi crossed my mind. Because I like Levi. I tried saying that out loud. That's right. It was such a simple reason. Just as I wanted to save Levi, the same went for him about me. That made me so happy. I had to reciprocate. I needed to find a way to save Levi as soon as possible. I needed to make it so that he could continue to live as a member of the Wolf Clan. I had to do it in a way that it wouldn't cause trouble to the people who believed in me. And for that... Time continued to pass while I struggled to find the answer. It was already morning. I couldn't waste any more time. I needed to find a way. The situation around me moved faster than I could react to it.
Get up!
I heard rough footsteps as two men came down to the underground jail. They didn't need to tell me, I was already awake. The two of them opened up the cell and tied my hands behind my back just as they did when I was brought here. Where are you taking me now?
Shut up and walk.
Apparently, he had no intention of answering me. I knew it was futile to resist, so I quietly obliged. Are we going to that same... alternate home, I guess? I exited the jail and headed to town, moving in the opposite direction of where I came. That meant my destination was... There were more people than yesterday at the town square, filling it completely to the brim. It's like during the masquerade. I don't know why I thought that. The expressions of the people here were not festive in the least. They forced me to walk up the stage in the center. Am I being hung? Burned? What's happening? Everyone was watching me. Their gazes were filled with fear and hatred. When I reached the stage, I was pushed from behind and fell hard onto the floor. I heard a small cheer from the crowd. A man in strangely formal attire was already on the stage. Oh, this guy.
Order! Order! We will now begin our interrogation of the witch who has brought chaos to the town.
The crowd suddenly became deathly silent. Interrogation of the witch? Meaning I'm going to be judged? I knew that this day would come, but not this quickly. I looked around. Right below the stage was Lugus. Lugus had the dignified look of the Lord of the Hawk Clan. Could this be under his orders? In the crowd far away, I saw Levon and Levi beside him, both with angry expressions. Interesting. I nodded to them just once. I had no idea if they would get the message, but I wanted to tell them not to worry. But what should I do? What would happen to me here? There was no way I could gather my thoughts in such a short time. My interrogation was about to begin.
Answer nothing but the truth. You are the witch who has brought forth disaster to this town, are you not?
No, I'm not a witch.
I told you to speak only the truth.
It's true!
Then how do you explain the red eye you possess? That is proof of your existence as a witch.
Well, the red eye was proof of being a witch. That was an immovable fact in this town. That was why I had hid it ever since I was a child. That was how serious it was. There was no way I could argue against it.
You can't answer. Then let's continue.
Do I have to accept that I'm a witch in front of all the townspeople? If I admit to being a witch, what would happen to me? What could I do? I saw Levi from the corner of my eye, gazing at me with a worried and apologetic look on his face. Did he just... I thought I wanted to save Levi. I tried to make a fist, but it just made the rope dig deeper into my arms.
With your witch's power, you have enraged the Lord of the Hawk Clan and started a war. You have taken so many lives and...
No, it's not me! Even during my internal strife, the interrogator continued to list my crimes. He was trying to blame everything on me. I automatically denied everything, but I didn't know how to argue against the charges. Even if I deny it, I started to feel desperate.
Not only did you control the minds of the people, you've also directly murdered the townspeople yourself.
I've never done that!
You've used an alias by the name of Black Shadow and committed many murders, did you not?
Wow, they're even pinning the Black Shadow murders on her? How rude. That's... Without thinking, my eyes tried to find Levi in the crowd. His eyes were wide open. Levi must have been even more surprised than I was. They were trying to deal with those murders as part of the witch trial. Oh. I just thought of something. If I take responsibility, Levi can live in the sun. The crimes that Levi committed, the lives he took, they could never be forgiven. Those crimes must be atoned for somehow. But now is not the time for that. Until the town settled down and the wolves have regained their power, they needed Levi. If I admitted to this, if I said that I was the culprit, Levi wouldn't be tried for the crimes of the Black Shadow. He might be able to live in peace for a while longer. If I take his place, will that save Levi? Of all places, I found the answer I was looking for here. This would be the turning point. If the Black Shadow murders were dealt with as one of the doings of the witch, then I could save Levi. That's right. I would be judged as the witch. In that case.
What's the matter? Black Shadow is your alias, is it not?
That's right.
I am Black Shadow!
A louder shout drowned out my voice. I looked to the source in the crowd and my eyes met Levi's. These two, they love each other! Why? Why did he admit to it? It was my chance. I was able to... Everyone, even the interrogator on the stage, looked to Levi.
She's never killed anyone. She's no witch. I was the one doing the murders. Here's proof.
He took out a knife hidden in his chest. A knife with the motif of a hawk feather. The town had rumored that it was the murder weapon.
That knife!
No! The crowd around Levi screamed and moved away. Having space opened up, Levi started walking. He moved slowly toward the stage to where I was.
I'll say it one more time. I'm the one who's killed the townspeople.
Levi jumped onto the stage and loudly declared his crime in front of everyone.
I killed the ones that interfered with us. Not only that, I also killed total strangers on Mother's orders. You're talking about witches and red eyes, but have you ever seen her kill anything? Ever seen her covered in blood? I've killed many, many people. I've been drenched in their blood. Go ahead, put me on trial! You should be judging me rather than trying to find wrong with this so-called witch!
The crowd became agitated. Of course they would. These people all believed it was my fault. They were here to watch me face retribution. And yet, when there was another culprit to the serial murders, and it was the younger brother of the Lord of the Wolves, they must have been shocked in an entirely different way from me. I couldn't defend Levi anymore. I couldn't save him from his sins. And it brought me despair.
Is that true?
The first one to recover from the shock was the interrogator, but the one to answer...
It's true.
Levon? Levon had come right next to the stage and affirmed the question. He then walked up the stage to stand next to Levi.
You heard him. All of the gains that the Wolf Clan has obtained were founded on Levi's crimes. We of the Wolf Clan are all sinners. If you object to that, try and think of whether you yourself are free of sin.
Stop it, Levon! I was the one who did the killings!
But
It's fine.
Levi held back Levon and turned toward the crowd. I'm proud of you, Levon, for trying to stand by your brother, though.
You didn't kill anyone. And the same goes for Jed. She committed no crimes. And yet you all try to blame everything on her as a witch.
Everyone in the town had probably done something like that before. Whenever bad things happened, whenever unreasonable things occurred, they all blamed it on the witch. They blamed everything on a witch that didn't exist.
Even if you did that, those sins won't disappear. What I did will never go away. You can't blame it on someone else and end it like that.
Everyone quietly listened to Levi. Some looked away awkwardly, while others looked down in shame. They probably all agreed to it to some extent. Or perhaps they didn't want it pointed out. The murderous craze of the crowd had calmed down greatly. Now everyone just felt uneasy.
that's unsettling to hear.
Lugus climbed up onto the stage. Levi and Levon took defensive stances, but he ignored them and walked to me.
I, too, tried to blame the previous lady for being a witch, all the while turning a blind eye to the dark side of this town. I cannot say for certain that the Hawk Clan's hands are clean.
After saying that, he untied me. Lugus, why do you keep distracting me and stealing my heart in the Wolf Boys endings? Please stop doing that. It's almost your turn, gosh darn it all.
The Hawk Clan will withdraw from this. Olgar. My father's sins will be shouldered by me as his son. I swear to dedicate my life to this town to atone for those sins.
After his declaration to the crowd, Lugus descended from the stage without looking at Levi, Levon, or me.
Please wait! How shall we deal with them? Leave the fate of the wolves to be dealt with by the wolves. But the witch! The witch never existed. The only one there is an ordinary woman.
After that, the town square was filled with confusion. Although Levi, Levon, and Lugus made speeches, I was not free to go. I was to return to jail in the meantime. Well, great, that accomplished nothing. I wasn't worried. Seeing the townspeople react to Levi's words, I doubted that I would be executed as a witch. However, I had another worry. What would happen to Levi now? They tried to frame me with the murders, but the fact remained that Levi did those things himself. And he also declared it in front of so many people. I heard footsteps descending to the underground jail. Maybe it was the guards. I didn't care who it was. I wanted to know what happened to Levi. How was he doing now? The footsteps were approaching my cell. I looked up to speak to them, but I saw an unexpected face. That is unexpected.
Sorry I'm late.
Huh? It was Levon. He had a ring of keys, which he used to open my cell. Why are you here, Levon?
To come and get you, of course. There's no more reason for you to be imprisoned.
Yeah. So where's Levi? Although I was surprised to see him, there was no better person to ask about Levi. His expression darkened at my sudden question.
Let's go back to the manor first. We'll talk there.
Those words made me even more worried. Yeah. I was half expecting Levi to be taking my place. Levon took me to a manor that looked similar to Francisca's manor that had burned down on that day. Okay, so we made our way back to this manor again. Before I could ask what this place was, Levon answered me.
There are several manors with similar architecture around town, meant to be our villas. This is where we live.
I thought that was rather excessive, but considering that Levon was the Wolf Lord, it didn't seem that odd. Convenient, excessive, squint. The details were different, but it felt like I was back in the manor. The thought brought me joy and sadness at the same time. But now was not the time to be sentimental. We were in the middle of something significant. We entered the living room and I asked him immediately, "What happened to Levi?" "You said you'd tell me after we came back to the manor." Levon still didn't speak. My patience grew thinner before he finally spoke.
He's probably in prison now. In the same jail where you were.
I freaking knew it. I knew it! I had a feeling this would happen, so I was able to accept it calmly. I thought that a heavier punishment was possible, so I was glad to know he was still alive at least.
It was on my orders. I don't know what sentence will be given to him.
Meaning the worst possible thing could still occur. If that were to happen,
Don't think anything stupid. There's no need for you to take responsibility for any of it.
But...
Those crimes must be atoned for eventually. He and I both know that now is that time.
I wonder if Levi knew that I was trying to take the fall for him then.
He probably did. He may not look it, but he's smart.
Damn, poor Levi. But Levi saved me instead. I was cleared of suspicion as a witch and released from prison. Can I see him? I want to talk to him.
Not for a while.
Why?
If you make contact with Levi right now, people will spread rumors. Hold off on it for the time being.
I understood what he meant. I was just cleared of being a witch myself. If I made contact with a serial killer, it would make the townspeople suspicious. But...
As the Lord of the Wolves, I can't allow you to do anything that would create more chaos. Please understand.
I must have had a dissatisfied look on my face from the way he reprimanded me.
On the other hand, I have to go see him regularly. If there's something you want to give him, I can deliver it.
What do you mean?
Like a letter or something.
Thank you, Levon! The expression Levon made was familiar. It was the face he made when Levi and I gave him trouble as kids. That's the older brother in him.
And I can't do it out in the open either, so don't do it too often.
Yeah! Thanks, Levon. This room looked similar to the ones the three of us used when we were children. But before I could reminisce on the memories, a pen and paper were laid out on the desk. This was the first time I wrote a letter to Levi. I had hardly ever written letters at all. I could say things easily, but I had no idea it was this difficult to put messages onto paper. I thought long and hard on every single word I wrote. Hello. Levon said he would deliver a letter to you if I wrote one. It's the first time I've written you a letter, so I honestly don't know what to write about. First, thank you. Thanks to you, I was freed from jail and was able to return to the manor. I was surprised to find out that there were multiple manors of this size around town. There are still so many things I don't know. How are you, Levi? It was cold and lonely when I was in the jail cell. That's why I'm worried for you. I hope you'll be able to leave there very soon. The manor we're in is pretty, but it's too spacious for just Levon and me. I'll write to you again. Goodbye. Aw, that was a sweet letter. I finally finished. It took me so long just to write this. I wonder if it's all right. I wonder if what I wanted to say was conveyed. The more I reread it, the more worried I got. Maybe I should rewrite it.
Judd, I'm about to go.
It seemed there was no time for that. I folded up the letter and handed it to Levon. Sorry I took so long. And thank you.
Yeah, don't mention it.
Oh, and please don't read it, Levon.
I had no intention on doing so, but now that you say that, I'm interested.
I knew for certain that Levon wouldn't do such a thing. Yeah, you didn't write anything scandalous in there either, so I think it's fine. I watched Levon leave the manor and suddenly grew tired. I slumped down onto the sofa. Would Levi read it, and what would he think after he did? I wondered if writing a letter was all I could do. Wasn't there anything else I could do for Levi? I dozed off thinking about it. For the next few days, I felt restless. Letters were so inconvenient. There was no way for me to know how the reader took my messages. Some people would say that was one of the best parts of letters, but it made me more and more impatient. And on this day, I was finally released from it. I got a response from Levi. Right before twilight, Levon returned to the manor to give it to me. Hooray! I almost ripped it out of his hand as I thanked him before running to my room. I carefully opened up the folded piece of paper. Wonder how Levon feels being messenger for these two lovebirds. Whoops, that is not quite what I wanted to do. Aww. That's beautiful. Man, I'm getting Kaguya feels all of a sudden.
To Jet. Thanks for the letter. I'm doing fine, I guess.
The first thing I was surprised at was how neat the handwriting was. I didn't know Levi wrote this way.
The jail life isn't so bad once you get used to it. You get food even when you do nothing. And the cold isn't that bad either.
He was lying. I knew better than anyone how uncomfortable that place was. I continued to read Levi's neat handwriting.
I'm glad you're safe. My situation now is of my own doing. I already knew that it would end up like this. It just came a little earlier than I thought. So you don't need to worry about a thing. Oh, and if you don't mind, write to me again. There's nothing to do here, so it gets quite boring. Reading your letters can help kill time. Thanks.
He said those kinds of things even over letters. But it didn't feel half bad. Even if he said it that way, as long as reading my letter made him happy. I'm a sucker for two lovebirds writing letters to each other, by the way, so I love this already. I'm just like, aww.
P.S. You're terrible at writing letters. What are you, a kid? I almost burst out laughing when I read it. Try writing a little better next time.
Damn, roasted her. Yes, I had a feeling my writing was bad, but it was irritating to have him say it so directly. I had an urge to simply not respond at all, but I couldn't give him a piece of my mind without writing back. Damn this! It's so annoying. I'll show you. Well, excuse me for writing terribly. I just messed up trying to write something a little fancy. I thought about not writing to you anymore, but I had to give you a piece of my mind. I'm only a little bit glad to see that you haven't changed. I didn't know your handwriting was that good. I'm jealous. We lived together for so long, and I didn't even know that. Pitiful, right? And lonely. It made me feel lonely. I miss you, Levi. Because I have to yell at you in person! I entrusted my honest and heartfelt letter to Levon. The response came a few days later. A single sentence was written on it. Oh, my heart! Levi! Man, you came for me, you got me right in the feels. Ugh.
I miss you too.
Our letter exchange continued from then on. What we wrote about were ordinary things. I wrote about what happened that day, or how the townspeople close to me were doing, and Levi offered his opinions on it all. I had so much fun writing to him. I couldn't wait to receive his responses. Levi still remained in jail. I didn't know what would happen to him. Would it be tomorrow? Or even further ahead? I suppressed those worries as we continued to exchange letters. We did this, trying to confirm each other's thoughts and feelings. We wrote and we read and we slowly confirmed it.
Oh, so cute.
It continued for over a month. By the time the letters turned into a small stack...
Do you want to see Levi?
Huh? It was so sudden that it took me a few moments to realize what I just heard. To see Levi? Does that mean it's alright to see him now? Is it okay to?
If you want to, that is.
Of course I want to see him!
Then get ready. It's cold outside again.
I ran out of the living room to get the coat in my room. I didn't even care about the reason why. I could see Levi. That in itself made me so happy. I don't like that Levon's depressed, but at that time I didn't notice Levon's depressed expression. Is this my chance to say goodbye? Oh no. Levon, don't do this to me. Feeling eager, my stride was quick. I'd never felt so much disdain toward the snow for how it slowed me down. Levon said nothing as he kept up with my pace. He really wasn't talking at all. I saw the jail in the distance. I did spend a few days in that horrible place. And right now, the person I wanted to see was there. I'm so anxious. Ugh. I leapt down the stairs. There were multiple metal barred cells, but Levi was placed in the closest one. Levi! He turned to me. He looked a little bit thinner, but upon seeing me, he smiled.
Don't shout. It really echoes in here.
His smile and attitude was the same as I remembered. Hearing that reassured me. Is that all you can say? It's been so long since we last met.
I already heard from Levon that you were coming. I'll need your help from now on.
From now on?
Huh? You didn't hear?
I was just about to explain it.
It seems like they talked about this, so I waited for Levon to continue.
Jed, I want you to be on food duty for Levi.
Food duty?
I need you to prepare food and deliver it to him at least once a day.
Can you make it at least twice a day?
If that's what you want, then don't get on the bad side of the food staff.
Is it alright for me to do that?
If you don't want to, I'll just ask another.
I never said I don't want to!
Then do it. I also want you to keep watch on him during meals so he doesn't do anything stupid.
What do you mean by that?
He was saying it in a roundabout way, but it meant I could see Levi every day and talk with him during his meals. Thanks, Levon.
I should be the one thanking you for taking up this troublesome task.
Sure, but if you don't mind, I haven't had anything to eat today, so...
Oh, really? I'll go prepare something then. If you told me earlier, I would have brought something with me. But for today, I should go find a shop to get him something. I wondered what was good. I'd prefer to buy something Levi liked. Cheese! I'm waiting for the shoe to drop between these two. I'm like, they're trying to be deliberately cheerful and positive for her sake, and that's not the full story. Ugh.
Thanks, Levon.
No. I should be the one to say that. I'm sorry.
Ominous fade to black.